Hey folks, how y'all doing? Today I thought we could talk about the Chris Eldridge version of Living in the Mississippi Valley. This is originally a John Hartford song. I'm not going to do a bunch of the history today, but you can look into that if you're super interested. I love the way Chris Eldridge plays this. I love his opening break. I think the song is incredibly catchy and incredibly happy. It's a glorious song, and I've wanted to cover it in the past, but I just haven't gotten around to it, so we're doing it now. I'm not going to do my traditional breakdown either. I thought it would be more fun to include some rhythm work because this song has such an interesting rhythm pattern. If you're not familiar with a couple things, this video might be a little more difficult, so I'm going to point out the things you want to know. Of course, you want to know your basic cowboy chords. If you don't already know those, this is going to be super difficult, but just, you know, G, C, and D, that kind of thing. It also helps a lot if you know a little bit about your G major pentatonic scale, or maybe your full G major scale. Chris Eldridge certainly uses some of those other notes as well. He also uses a little like power chord shape, so if you're not familiar with that, that would also help. But just to get right into this, because I don't want to waste a lot of time, I want you to look at how the rhythm works for the verses. And I know some of you are going to be like, hey, this is boring, teach me the break already. I almost never cover rhythm work, and I think this song is a great example of when I should cover rhythm work. This is a really basic boom chuck pattern, but the chords change in the middle of the measures and the bass notes get reversed a handful of times. So I'm going to sing this thing really slowly, and I'm going to play the rhythm part and show you the rhythm up above, and hopefully you can catch on because it takes a little bit of work. I found myself getting backwards quite a bit, and I think I played it correctly. This is kind of how Chris Eldridge plays it, so if you want to sing the song, you got to learn this first for sure. So take a listen to this. You can take me back to a good old home, loving people that's out in that Mississippi Valley. Even on a Sunday morning, you know that I'll be there, and we will come back for to be with you, good neighbor. Live a good life in the Mississippi Valley, down on the river, you know that's where I wanna be. And the fields of corn, the banjo music, catfish fry in the towboat bay, though pushing upstream against the stars. And the letter came back from the girl in Calhoun County, in the middle of the Mississippi Valley. I'm in love, and you know that's where I wanna be. All right, hopefully that clears that up. I'm going to include that in the tab too. Remember, the tab is always available for free at my website, lessonswithmarcel.com, as well as a bunch of other tabs, so definitely check that out. But for once, I will actually include the part in the tab, and it's this one. Let's just hop into this break and let's start learning it. I'm going to talk my way through it a little bit and hopefully find some little moments that might catch you up. It is a really, really fun break, though. So I should have mentioned this sooner, but I didn't. We are in the key of B, so that's G shapes, capo, 4th fret. This very first line kind of gets us into the whole idea of this piece. And we see a lot of syncopation. We see a lot of like chord extensions. We see a lot of double stops. So let's get into this thing. So I'm going to count the first two measures that we got there. 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. If you're interested in pick strokes, let me say the pick strokes for you. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down. Great melody, great break. Let me play the whole first line. So this hammer-on, for some reason I had it as a slide before. I do believe it is a hammer-on in the performance that I played. I don't know if he changes it. He does have another recording of this with Julian Lage, and Julian plays the second guitar part on top of this. I didn't use that recording because I really want to hear Chris's guitar part. So yes, that last measure is a hammer-on, 1st fret. Sorry, 2nd fret to 4th fret. It's your 1st finger to your 3rd finger. And then this slide, I like to play with my pinky. So I end up kind of in 2nd position, right? Index finger over 2nd fret, pinky over 5th fret. The other ones line up in between. And it sets up everything that's about to come up. Let's look at the next line. All of this, right? Mostly on the beat, but every once in a while, we get that and a beat 4 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's put the whole line together because it's more of the same. Now he's playing his G chord without putting down his last finger. Right, when he plays his G chord, he's got the open E up there, and he only hits it on the upstroke. So down, up, down. Putting those first two lines together. Now our next couple lines are going to be very similar, but he's kind of changing how he plays this second half of the melody, right? This second half of the melody is similar, but he's got a different interpretation. So moving on to the third line, this should look familiar. Right? Even the next little bit. All of that's kind of the same. That fourth line is different from when we saw this before. Right? So catch that. Don't rush that slide. Don't play. It's, you feel the time. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1. So tempting to rush slides. I see students all the time. Do it. Don't do it. Here's the fourth line. It sounds like this. I'm going to play the whole thing. Really cool chord at the end. We'll talk about that in a second. Going through this line again, let's chunk it up. First two measures, 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Watch out for those pick strokes. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. This last line, down, down, up, down, down, down. Excuse me, the last two measures is what I meant. Down, down, up, down, 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 up. Cool chord. This chord is like a G9 chord. So he's got a G root note, he's playing notes in the G chord, but he's also including the 7th, and above that the 9th. It's really cool. I think the first time I heard it, I assumed he was playing like this shape, because I heard G9, but it's not. It's kind of a smarter shape that includes more open strings and keeps the bass note in there. I love it. Cool chord. And that G7 or G9 sets up our transition into kind of the chorus changes, right? Everything we've just played is basically over the verse of the song, but he's also going to play his break over the chorus, and that starts on a C chord, right? G7 wants to go to C. So this is the part that I said has a little bit to do with power chords. So he's starting with this kind of power chord shape, right? Like a C power chord, but he's using his pinky and his index finger. And he's going to slide his pinky up. Feels uncomfortable, doesn't it? So he's going to slide it up. He's going to give us a down, up, down. So slide. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. You should be muting all of your other strings. And he's even strumming some of those other muted strings, right? Everything else is muted. So, like I just played, after that, down, up, down, he's going to move his pinky back to where it started. And now he's got to do some finger rearranging, right? He's going to drop his index finger down to 2nd fret of the D string, and he's going to put his middle finger onto 3rd fret of the A string. Now the reason he does that is because he's going to have to play this other double stop in a second. So to do that again, right? It's index and pinky. Got to rearrange my fingers so I can grab this double stop. Put my finger back down. My pinky back down. It's a tough little passage. That's the one that's going to give you the most trouble. Now he's going to reach up and do this hammer on above the pinky. So I got my pinky on 5th fret still, got my index finger on 2nd fret, and then using my 1st and 3rd finger, I'm playing this hammer on from 2 to 4, but I still have my pinky down, remember? There you go. That is the hardest part of the piece for sure. Continuing, it gets easier again, I promise. We go back to playing this G chord shape. He just strums it on beat 1 and 2. A lot of times I don't have time to get this finger down, or it's just not an important note to play in your G chord right here either. We already have the B, the open B string. So I'll just play like that and mute my A sometimes. Right, just that one finger down, and it's muting my A string. Should be used to this kind of thing now, right? It's a lot of 8 notes. But to count it, just for fun. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and. All right, last line of those chorus changes, and we kind of go back to kind of a verse feel. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So this is an interesting part of the tune. We have a 2/4 measure. It'll happen when you go to play rhythm too. And it's kind of like the pickup from the very beginning of the song, if you remember that. And then the song is all just kind of like crooked, right? It's all kind of like, you know, wonky in little places. And you probably could put in a bunch more 2/4 measures. I don't think it's worth doing. I think this is the only one that you really need, and the form still makes sense. So here I go. I'm going to play this into the next line. Should all be familiar. All of this. All of that was how we ended the first half, the first half of the break is kind of those verse changes, and how we end those verse changes, he comes back to right there. This is such a toughie, but such a rewarding break to learn. I'm going to play the whole thing kind of slow. And then we'll listen to the recording again. There you go. Now I'm going to play the performance of me playing it along with Chris again. Remember that you can get the tab at lessonswithmarcel.com. That'll help a lot. I am going to put the tab up above in this part of the music, so if you just want to view it off the YouTube video, you can. Remember, you can also slow things down by hitting the settings wheel and changing the playback speed, and that should help a lot. One more thing is I am going to play a little bit into the rhythm with Chris. I might not be super tab accurate, but I want you to just kind of feel what that rhythm would be like. So yeah, enjoy all of that. I know this has kind of been a short, weird video, but it's kind of a weird break. I don't know how to present it, but I love it. I got to show it to you.
That taught me in Mississippi Valley, even on a Sunday morning, you know that I'll be there. And we all come back for the view with you, good neighbor. Live a good life in the Mississippi Valley, down on the river, you know that's where I want to be. And when it comes on like a blanket, chilly wind, people come.
right, gang, I hope you liked that lesson. I have a much bigger, exciting kind of interview video coming out, but it's not ready yet. I think you'll all really enjoy that one when it comes out. Remember that you can go to the website, you can get the tab, you can sign up for Skype lessons, get a bunch of stuff on the website. You can get merch on the website, like this cool Tony Rice hat. Look at that serial number. Yeah, you want that. Anyway, gang, I'll see you all soon. Hopefully tomorrow for the live stream every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. If not, I'll see you next Monday for another YouTube video. See you all later.